You don't meet a CIA agent's daughter by accident because nothing around that family is accidental. You meet her at a Georgetown bar on a Thursday and she laughs at something you say that wasn't even funny. She tells you her name is Claire, that she works in consulting, and that her father is retired government. Retired government in Washington, D.C. means one of three things, and two of them have clearances higher than your credit score. You start seeing her, coffee shops in Adams Morgan, dinners at places she picks, always quiet, always tucked away from windows. You notice a black sedan parked outside her apartment building every time you drop her off, and it is always the same sedan. You mention the car to her and she pauses for exactly 1 second too long before saying it is probably a neighbor's. She is careful at first, not cold, careful, like someone who learned early that trust is a luxury most people cannot afford. You find a closet in her hallway cracked open, and on the top shelf there is a locked black case and folders stamped with red ink. She appears at the end of the hallway and closes the closet without explaining, and you do not ask because her face says don't. You sit on the National Mall alone the next day, trying to figure out what kind of life has classified documents in the coat closet. You meet her father for the first time at a house in McLean, Virginia. The kind of house that has a circular driveway and cameras you can see and cameras you cannot. He sits across the dinner table and asks you questions that sound like small talk but feel like an interrogation, and his eyes never leave your face. He asks what you do for work, where your parents live, whether you have ever traveled to certain countries, and you realize this is not curiosity. This is a checklist. In the car afterward, Claire holds your hand and says it went well, and you choose to believe her because the alternative is replaying her father's face for the rest of the night. 3 months in, a man at a government office slides a 127-page form across the desk and says you need to fill out an SF-86. You stare at it because page 1 alone asks for every address you have lived at in the last 10 years, and you moved 6 times in college alone. They ask about every foreign contact, every financial account, every job, every roommate, every relationship, every time you were fired, every debt, every arrest, everything. You sit in a room with no windows while a woman in a dark suit asks you the same questions 3 different ways, and a polygraph machine hums beside your chair. Your neighbor mentions that a man in a suit came by asking about you. Your habits, your schedule, who visits, and how late your lights stay on. Your college friend calls and says someone from the federal government called his office asking about your character, and he wants to know what you did. Claire tells you one night on her couch that she grew up thinking every family had a father who disappeared for months at a time and came back different. You realize the walls you are seeing in her are not personality. They are engineering. Built by a childhood where the word classified was used more often than the word love. You take Claire to the tidal basin when the cherry blossoms are out, and for one afternoon, nothing in your life involves a background check or a form. You propose on a Sunday morning in the apartment. No ring because you wanted to choose it together, and she says yes before you finish the sentence and then gets annoyed at herself for being impatient. The wedding is small. A chapel in the Virginia countryside. Your family on one side, her family on the other, her father in the front row with his arms crossed. Your mother cries at the ceremony and Claire's mother hands her a tissue and they bond over it, and that small act of kindness becomes the only bridge between 2 families that operate on completely different levels of information. At the reception, her father pulls you aside under an oak tree and says one sentence, "You will never know everything," and it is not a warning, it is a fact. You move into a townhouse in Alexandria and unpack boxes while Claire hangs a frame, and you think this is the part where it becomes normal. A letter arrives from the Department of Defense, and Claire reads it standing by the stove, and her face goes flat, and she says it is nothing, just paperwork. You sit at the kitchen table at midnight, searching security clearance denial appeals because the job you applied for just evaporated and nobody will tell you exactly why. Lily is born on a Tuesday morning, and Claire does something in that delivery room that makes you understand strength in a way nobody has ever explained. You stand over the crib at 2 in the morning, watching your daughter breathe, and you understand that everything before this moment was just a rough draft. You and Claire take shifts, 3 in the morning handoffs in the hallway, the blank camaraderie of two people surviving something beautiful and exhausting at the same time. Saturday mornings become the center of everything. Lily in the high chair distributing scrambled eggs across every surface. Claire making coffee, you pretending the mess bothers you. You take Lily to the park and she chases a butterfly and falls and gets up and chases it again, and you think this is what fearlessness looks like before the world trains it out of you. At bedtime, you read Goodnight Moon, same book every night, you do the voices, Lily falls asleep on page 11 every time. And you read pages 12 through the end to yourself because stopping a story in the middle feels wrong. Claire's father visits and holds Lily once, carefully, both hands, and looks up at you and nods once, and something in his face shifts like you finally cleared a check he's been running since the dinner in McLean. Claire gets a phone call one evening and takes it in the other room and comes back and says everything is fine, but she says it with a comma, not a period. You come home to find two men in dark suits on your porch holding badges, and behind you, Claire stands in the hallway holding Lily, and nobody explains what this is about. They sit in your living room with a folder on the coffee table stamped in red and talk about things they cannot fully describe while your daughter's toys are scattered on the floor by their shoes. You lie in bed that night staring at the ceiling while Claire faces the wall, and the gap between you and the bed is only 12 inches, but it feels like a checkpoint. You tell your friend at a coffee shop that something is off, and he says maybe you are overthinking it, and you want to agree but you can't because the sedan is back outside the apartment. You come home one afternoon and Claire is loading suitcases into her father's black SUV, and Lily is already in the car seat, and Claire does not look at you when she says they need some time at her father's house. The townhouse goes quiet in a way that sounds different from empty. It sounds like a place that expected to be full and was lied to. You find a lawyer, a family attorney in Arlington who speaks carefully because she regularly delivers information that reorganizes lives. She explains that Claire's father filed a motion citing national security concerns regarding your access to certain environments where Lily would be present, and you read that sentence 3 times because it does not sound like English. It sounds like a weapon. The courthouse in Virginia is a red brick building with white columns and an American flag, and you walk up those steps carrying every document you have, and none of them are stamped with a classification level, so none of them carry the weight that the other sides do. You sit in a wood-paneled courtroom across from the woman you married while a judge reads motions that reference things nobody in the room is allowed to fully explain. You take the stand and say you know your daughter's shoe size, her pediatrician, the page she falls asleep on, and the sound she makes before she laughs, and Claire's lawyer asks you a question about a document you have never seen. A classified filing is submitted to the judge in camera, meaning you are not allowed to read the thing that is being used to decide whether you can see your own child. You sit on a bench in the courthouse hallway while Claire walks past with her lawyer and her father, and none of them look at you. You move into a studio apartment with a bed, a desk, and a window that shows you the Washington Monument every night, like the city reminding you where you are and how little that matters. Your mother calls and asks how you are holding up, and you say fine, and she says you should come home, and it lands like a verdict, as if the last 4 years were a trip you can just pack up from. You walk through Rock Creek Park for 2 hours because sitting still feels like agreeing to something you never signed. You go to her father's house in McLean at night and ring the doorbell, and he opens the door and blocks it with his body and says Claire is not available. And behind him the house is warm and lit, and you can hear Lily somewhere inside. Your first supervised visit is at a family services building with fluorescent lights and beige walls and a room with a toy bin and a social worker who sits in the corner with a clipboard. Lily is 3 now. Her hair is longer. She is wearing a shirt you have never seen. and she looks at you like she remembers your face but is not sure where it belongs in her life anymore. You sit on the floor because that is where she is, and you open Goodnight Moon and she leans into you on page 4 this time, not page 11, like she has been waiting longer than she knows how to say. You read every page and she falls asleep on page 11, same as always, and you whisper pages 12 through the end because stopping in the middle still feels wrong even when the audience is unconscious. The social worker says time is up and Lily is asleep against your arm, and you close the book and do not wake her, and Claire takes her gently and Lily waves with one hand, already turning back into the life that continues without you. You sit in the parking lot for 40 minutes because your hands will not stop shaking and the book is on the passenger seat and the rain starts and you do not turn on the wipers. You lie in the apartment staring at the ceiling holding your phone with no new messages, and the book on the nightstand and the DC skyline out the window, and you count 27 days until the next visit. You hold a drawing Lily made before any of this happened, 3 people under a sun. She said the tall one was you, the small one was her, the medium one was Mama, and the sun had many lines because it is very sunny, the most sunny. Saturday morning in the apartment. No child, no breakfast, no laughter, no small hand grabbing your hair. Coffee going cold, the drawing on the fridge, the book on the nightstand, the indent on the couch where someone used to sit. You look at a photo of Lily's birthday party on your phone, a party you were not invited to, and she is wearing a hat and surrounded by people, and Claire is in the background. You sit in a government waiting room holding a ticket number while a TV on the wall plays muted news and pamphlets about custody mediation sit in a stack nobody touches. Claire sits across from you in a mediation room and does not make eye contact, and a mediator between you writes on a legal pad, and the box of tissues on the table goes unused because this is past tears. You buy a gift for Lily at a toy store and stand outside looking at the display and Christmas lights on the storefront, and you feel like a customer in your own daughter's life. You hand the wrapped gift to Claire at the McLean house, and she takes it but does not invite you in, and the door is only half open and the security camera watches from above. You drive home on a Virginia road at night with the gift gone and the passenger seat empty and the rearview mirror showing nothing but the dark road behind you. You sit on the floor of the apartment watching a video of Lily's first steps that Claire sent months ago, and your thumb hits replay and replay and replay. The visitation room again. Lily is 4 now. She sits at the table drawing quietly and does not lean into you, and there is a gap between you at the table that was not there before. You look at her drawing and she has drawn 2 people under a sun, 1 medium and 1 small, no tall figure, just 2. You walk out of the family services building holding the book, and the parking lot is half empty, and a mother walks past you going in with her child and does not notice you. You stare at your computer at work, but your eyes are unfocused, and a photo of Lily sits beside the monitor, and a coworker walks past and does not know anything about your life. You stand in a grocery aisle holding a box of cereal with cartoon characters that Lily used to eat, and a mother with a daughter walks past and you put the box back. You sit on the park bench from before, but now it is winter and the playground is empty and the swings move in the wind and no children are here and the snow covers everything. You sit at the desk in the apartment staring at an empty email draft to Claire that you have written and deleted 4 times, and the cursor blinks and the calendar on the wall has the next visit circled in red. Lily runs to you at the next visit and wraps her arms around your leg, and she is almost 5 now and wearing a school uniform, and she holds up a crumpled drawing she made for you. You sit on the floor together and she leans into your side and you read Goodnight Moon, and her eyes get heavy and the social worker watches the clock. The social worker says time and Lily is asleep in your lap, and you read the last pages to yourself, lips barely moving because stopping in the middle still feels wrong. Claire carries Lily down the hallway, and Lily looks back over her shoulder and waves with one small hand, a sleepy wave already turning away. You stand at the fridge in the apartment looking at the drawing, 3 people under a sun, and your hand rests on the fridge handle and you do not open it. Saturday morning, the apartment quiet, no child, no breakfast, one indent on the couch, coffee in hand, the book on the shelf, the drawing on the fridge, the city outside moving without you. Your lawyer holds a court document showing an appeal denied in red, and you sit with your head in your hands and the stack of legal bills on the desk corner gets taller. You walk past CIA headquarters in Langley and look at the building through the fence and keep walking because that building made every decision in your life for you and you were never in the room. You sit alone in a church in Arlington in a pew near the back with your hands folded and the colored light from the stained glass falls on the floor and you do not pray, you just sit. Your mother calls again and you pace the apartment and your free hand runs through your hair and the apartment is messy and the drawing is still on the fridge and the book is still on the nightstand. You stand on the sidewalk outside the McLean house at dusk, looking at the warm windows and a silhouette of Lily dancing is visible through the glass and you are on the public sidewalk and you are not allowed closer. You ride the metro alone, forehead against the window. Your reflection faint in the glass, the tunnel dark outside, other passengers spaced apart, the train moving under a city that does not know your name. You sit at the same Georgetown bar where you met Claire and the stool beside you is empty, and the bartender polishes glasses and the jukebox plays, and nothing about this place knows what happened since the last time you were here. You stand at the Lincoln Memorial at night looking out over the reflecting pool toward the monument and the mall is empty and the city is spread out and you are one person standing in a place built to remember people who mattered. You pack the apartment into boxes and place the book carefully on top and peel the drawing off the fridge and lay it flat inside and close the box labeled keep. You stand in the empty apartment with the keys on the counter and the walls have faint marks where things used to hang and the window is clean and the apartment is just a room again. You drive away from D.C. on the interstate and the Capitol dome gets smaller in the rearview mirror and the boxes are in the back seat and the book is on the passenger seat. Your mother opens the front door with her arms wide and you stand on the porch with a bag and the family home behind her is warm and the dog is at her feet. You sit in your childhood bedroom reading Goodnight Moon to yourself and the room has floral wallpaper and your old trophies and Lily's drawing taped to the wall beside the bed. A calendar on the wall shows the next visitation date circled in red, 27 days away, and your hand touches the circled date and the rest of the month is empty. You walk past a school at pickup time and children stream out and a girl about Lily's age runs to her father and he scoops her up and you keep walking. You hold a printed school photo of Lily at the kitchen table. Her smile, a gap where a tooth fell out, and your thumb covers her face and you sit in the dark. Saturday morning at your parents' house, coffee on the porch. The old swing set rusted in the yard. Somewhere in McLean Lily is waking up too. Maybe laughing, maybe pointing at a dog. You would not know. It is not your Saturday yet. The book lies open on the bed to page 11. The page where she always falls asleep, and you read the rest of the pages to yourself because some stories should not stop in the middle even when everything else does. You unpack in a new apartment and hold Lily's drawing up to a bare wall with a single nail and decide where it goes. You tape the drawing to the fridge, 3 figures under a sun. The tall one is you, the small one is her, the medium one is Mama, the sun with many lines because it is very sunny. The most sunny. You drive back toward Virginia on the interstate for the monthly visit, the book on the passenger seat, your hands at 10 and 2, the road stretching ahead. Lily sees you enter the visitation room and smiles and holds up a new drawing with 3 people and the tall one labeled Daddy in wobbly letters and you kneel down to her level. She sits in your lap and holds the book open and reads it to you this time, stumbling over words, pointing at pictures, and you listen because this is everything. The social worker says time and Lily is asleep in your lap and you read the last pages silently to yourself because stopping in the middle still feels wrong even now. You stand in the parking lot watching Claire's SUV drive away, and Lily's small hand waves from the back window, getting smaller, and you stand there until the car turns the corner. You sit in the new apartment at night with the book open past page 11, reading the remaining pages to yourself. The drawing on the fridge, the calendar on the wall, one quiet life. The book closes in your hands, 3 figures on the fridge, a sun with many lines. Tomorrow is not Saturday. Your Saturday is once a month. 4 hours, page 11, and the rest of the pages are yours alone. The landscape at night, hundreds of houses with lit windows. In one, a child sleeps. In another, a man sits with a book. 2 stories that used to be one. A highway at dawn, the sun rising with many lines of light. The most sunny, a single car moving forward. Some stories do not end. They just continue in monthly installments of 4 hours, and a book and a drawing that never comes off the fridge. You stand on a quiet street at dusk looking at the sky, houses on both sides with warm lights. A child's bicycle on a lawn. The book in your back pocket. Somewhere Lily is being read to by someone else tonight, but page 11 is still yours. It will always be yours. Lily runs toward you at the next visit and crashes into your legs with that same surprised laugh, and you pick her up and she wraps her arms around your neck, and the clock starts and 4 hours begin. And for 4 hours, page 11 comes back. The family services building from outside, late afternoon. 1 car in the lot, the room empty inside, toys put away, chairs pushed in. On the carpet, a single yellow crayon left behind, the color of a sun with many lines, the most sunny. You drive home after the visit, the book open to page 11 on the passenger seat, the sun setting through the windshield with many lines of light, your face calm, not happy, not broken. Just a man driving home from the most important 4 hours of his month. Tomorrow, you are the last analyst inside the NSA the night the servers go dark. You stand in the kitchen pouring coffee, the drawing on the fridge, the book on the shelf. The calendar shows 3 days until the next visit, and love does not require proximity. It only requires showing up, page 11, every month, for as long as the story lasts.